So I spent 24 hours in Grow Garden. Here's the story. The moment I joined the game, I made myself one promise. No matter what happens, no matter how bad things got, I was not leaving until 24 hours had passed. I'll grind the frick out of the game. I will become the best player in the game in 24 hours. Can you believe 24 hours staying there not doing anything? At first, that sounded easy. I mean, how hard could it get? Growing a garden? But turns out I had absolutely no idea what I just signed myself for. Hour 1. The first hour felt peaceful. Bed trimming, fresh empty plot, ultimate confidence. I looked around and thought I was going to be the richest player on the server before lunchtime. I planted my first crops and stood there waiting and waiting and waiting. I realized almost immediately that patience was going to be my biggest enemy. While I was making pennies, everyone around me seemed to be growing their own giant farms worth millions while I'm there doing nothing for 24 hours. Everywhere I looked, there was massive plants, glowing fruits, and people casually walking around with inventories bigger than my entire net worth. But then, things got worse. I accidentally spent almost all my starting money on the wrong seeds. For a second, I honestly thought the challenge was over. Before, my tiny garden looked embarrassing. Players walked by, some started, some jumping on my crops. One guy literally stood in front of me, dancing, when his garden produced more money in 1 minute than mine would take in an hour. But, you know me, I refused to quit. Instead, I started grinding, even harvesting. Every harvest, every coin, every upgrade. Slowly, very slowly, the garden began to grow. Then disaster strikes. I disconnected. You know, the part of the plan was that I don't disconnect, because if I disconnected, it's almost over. For a terrifying moment, I thought hours of progress had vanished forever, because I thought, they didn't save my things, because it didn't say they saved it. Thankfully, I got back in, but my heart was racing. Only 1 hour had passed, and I already am exhausted. I had 23 hours to survive. Hour 8. By now, everything had completely changed. My little garden had transformed to something that actually looked respectable. I wasn't rich, but I wasn't broke. That's when the server seemed to decide it hated me. The lag, everything. Plants refused to load. My internet had paused for no reason. I don't know, maybe because I'm there for 8 hours. Item disappeared for a second before popping back into existence. Every harvest became a gamble. Then another plane challenged me to compare gardens. Big mistake. The second I look at theirs, I realize mine still looked microscopic. They had rows and rows of upgraded plants stretching across the map. Mine looked like a backyard. I started questioning everything. Maybe my strategy was wrong. Maybe I bought the wrong upgrades. Maybe I should have invested differently. So I completely changed my plan. And for almost an hour, nothing worked. Money slowed down. Progress stopped. I was stuck. At this point, my motivation started to disappear. But then something lucky happened. An unexpected bonus dropped. You know what happened? My friend gave me a very good plant. And then, suddenly, I had enough currency to buy upgrades. I couldn't even dream from them before. Everything snowballed. Harvest after harvest, my income exploded. For the first time during the challenge, I actually believed I might survive the full 24 hours because I was very motivated. Little did I know, the hardest part was making money. It was staying awake. Oh my god, guys. It's 1 a.m. currently, and I'm very tired. I don't know. 6, 7. I want to sleep. I'm just thinking about 6, 7. Tra-la-la-la, tra-la-la. Okay, never mind. Hour 19. This is where everything become a blur. 19 hours in. My eyes hurt. I had memorized every corner of the map. Every sound effect echoed inside my brain. I could literally practically harvest crops with my eyes closed. Then I made the biggest mistake of the entire challenge. I looked away, just for a minute, when I came back and realized I had missed opportunities that could earn me thousands, because one of the best seeds in the game just loaded and I didn't realize it. I couldn't believe it. 19 hours of non-stop focus ruined because I got distracted. Frustrated, I started rushing and rushing, led to even more mistakes, wrong purchases, additional clicks, selling things I could have kept. The pressure was building. Meanwhile, another player started following me everywhere. Every time I harvest, they harvested. Every time I upgraded, they upgraded. That's weird as hell. It felt like we were in an unofficial competition. I didn't agree to that. Slowly, my determination returned. I stopped comparing myself, focused only on my own progress, and something incredible happened. For the first time all day, everything clicked, money poured in, my farm expanded, plants filled every available space. The little beginner garden from 1 hour had no longer existed. Thanks. Okay, anyways, now I had something I was genuinely proud of. But there was still one final obstacle. 19 hours was very hard, but there's 5 more to come. And those 5 hours somehow felt longer than the previous 19 hours combined. Let me explain. The final hour 24. When the clock finally gets close, I honestly couldn't believe I had made it. The same game that looked relaxing at first had turned into one of the longest game marathons I've ever attempted. My garden looked completely different. My upgrade, my plant, my layout, the value, everything had changed. But more importantly, I had changed. The frustration from hour 1, the mistakes from hour 8, the exhaustion from hour 12, all of it led to this moment, the final harvest. I walked through every row on last time, collecting everything I had spent an entire day building. Looking back, the biggest challenge wasn't making money. It wasn't upgrading. It wasn't even comparing with other players. It was refusing to give up when everything went wrong. And honestly, if someone asked me whether I'd do another 24 hours challenge in a garden, I'd probably say yes. But maybe after getting some sleep first, because I'm literally so tired. I just want to sleep right now, but I have to film this video because after 24 hours, I think even my Roblox character needs a break, right? And that's the story of how I survived spending an entire day inside Grow a Garden. If you think you could beat what I went through, good luck. You're definitely going to need it.